Since the rework of Eve in July 2012, there's been a lot of conversation and speculation as to whether Eve's abilities and kit and stealth are better or worse than they were previously. The purpose of this video isn't to address that in any sort of regard. The purpose of this video is to be able to help you understand how the stealth of Eve as it stands, can be used to your benefit. First, a couple of details concerning this. As you look at the screen before you, you'll notice there's a radius, a ring around Eve when she's stealth that indicates that here's the range that if an enemy champion or tower or vision ward comes within that range, it'll be able to spot Eve. Now, of course, there's some other details concerning that, such as if a minion comes within that range, it's not going to affect her. Likewise, if she's in a bush and someone comes next to her, unless they're in the bush with her, of course the bush is going to conceal her much like it would conceal any other champion. But let's look at a couple of examples of how this might work in a real-world situation. Now, as I move into gank a Darius and a Soraka on the bottom lane, take note of the icons above their heads. Occasionally a yellow or a red will appear, or an exclamation point above me. If it's a yellow, it means it's a warning that I'm getting too close. If it's a red with an exclamation point over my character, that indicates I've been spotted. Now, my stealth didn't break because I didn't attack, take damage, or use an ability, so I can move away and I'm stealthed again, and that allowed me to kind of fake them out and come back in for a gank when they thought maybe I had run away from them. And then there goes the Soraka to her death. Notice as I go into gank Wukong how I try to keep out of my stealth radius until just the right moment. So I circle around him, try to get him from behind. The minions don't see me, so he has no idea that I'm there. I'm completely invisible. And so by the time he sees me, it's too late. And I slow him down, I've got the red buff on, and unfortunately he's going nowhere quick. In this situation, our Ryze is getting harassed pretty badly by the enemy Diana, so I'm going to circle around with my stealth to cause her a little bit of trouble and teach her not to be so confident in pushing our middle lane. In this situation, she'll get away, but that's alright, she's learned her lesson. So as you may have noticed, you can't get remarkably close with the new stealth, that radius and all, but if you use a combination of stealth and bushes, you can create quite the dramatic effect. In this situation, we just created a sandwich with Darius in the middle. Now, what's more important to note is the psychological effect this has on players. Let's look at this from the perspective of Darius. So here's Darius, he's in one set of bushes, he's in another set of bushes. Everything is clear, and there's his minions, and the fog of war in this area is pretty clear. There's nowhere necessarily for an enemy champion to hide. Well, any champion except for Evelynn, who just miraculously almost seems to teleport out of the bushes and ganks Darius. In this next scenario, we have a Soraka and a Graves that are putting a lot of pressure on our bottom lane. And Soraka seems to be doing everything a good support should do. She's placed down a ward to protect from ganks, she's checking bush to the left, she's going to check the brush to the right. I mean, she's probably even expecting that an Eve's going to try to gank her. And sure enough, lo and behold, Evelynn pops out of nowhere, and there's a dead Soraka. So once again, this helps to show the psychological effect that having an Evelynn in game, a good Evelynn at that, can really have on players. So there's one last trick I want to show you before we end, and this one is a fake recall. In this situation, Kassadin has Eve pushed up against a tower, so she'll finish off a few more minions, push them back, and then what she's going to do is start recalling. Now, when it gets up to 6 seconds after the start of the recall, she'll actually stealth because within 6 seconds of the last time she was hit or used an ability, that automatically happens. So now that she's stealth, she can circle around to visit Kassadin. So let's take a peek at what this looks like from the perspective of the bad guy. So from the perspective of Kassadin, he's pushing Evelynn up against the tower, and Evelynn's kind of fighting for her life, trying to get some last hits on this creep wave, just before her trying to teleport back to base and heal up, buy up, whatnot. So this is a good opportunity for Kassadin to push that lane and to either do some tower hits, to be able to go back himself and get some gear without having to worry about missing out on a creep wave. However, I think we're all aware of what's going to happen. Evelynn's going to come up from behind and well, gank him because he thinks that she's back at base. Now keep in mind that this trick right here is something that you'll probably only get to try once on somebody before they get wise to your tricks. So hopefully this has been useful. Hopefully you've learned some new things about how to use Evelynn Stealth, and that each of you will now be better Evelynn players as a result of it.